So I decided to review one of my all-time favorites. People don't consider this a game per se, because it's technically a mod, which is the title of the game, Garry's Mod. But it has a lot of things to do. Literally. And I'm not even going to be able to go over all of it, because to tell you the truth, I haven't played every single game mode in Garry's Mod. So, yeah. But I will say one thing. This is such a great game. Whether you call it a game or a mod, it's amazing. And I'm going to tell you why. People say that all I do is review negative or do negative reviews or something like that, but that's not the truth. I do a balance. Negative reviews, positive reviews. My negative reviews are the ones, granted, that give me the most hate. I think the most views that I've ever gotten on a review that was positive, I think, was Walking Dead, which got like 800 something. And I think it was 900. Can't really remember. No. It was Black Ops 2, which was over 1,000. So, I'm gonna review Garry's Mod. Now, Garry's Mod is about, I don't know, maybe $10. It was released in 2004 originally as a Half-Life 2 mod. And then 2 years later, Valve released it on Steam. Still, obviously, a Half-Life 2 mod. But this is a warning. In this game, you're gonna see error signs when you first get it. You're gonna have to get Counter-Strike Source. But I will send you a link in the description to a video of how to get rid of the error signs. So you have all the textures, all the gun textures, and all of the textures that you need. You need to do that first, though, after you buy Garry's Mod, before you even start the game. I'll give you a link. However, let's continue. So once everything's set up and everything, which doesn't really take too long, and it's not required to have Counter-Strike Source, it's just you need it for textures, but you don't need the actual game. You could have the game content. But, continuing, once you have everything, like I said, you have a wide selection of game modes you can play on. Let's start off with the most popular one, Trouble in Terrorist Town. Trouble in Terrorist Town is basically a strategy and competitive thing at the same time, which you don't see too much in any shooters. I know Garry's Mod isn't really considered a shooter, but all you really do is guns. But, in this, there are three groups of people. The innocent terrorist, the traitor terrorist, and the detective. So, the innocent terrorist is basically probably the most vulnerable in the game. Basically, the innocent terrorist has all the disadvantages because they don't know who the traitors are. And all they really need to do is try to kill someone before they kill them. But let's move on to the next two groups. There's the traitor, who is the exact opposite of the innocent terrorist. The traitor can buy stuff ranging from a C4, which you could plant in any part of the map and set it off. But if they hear beeping, the innocent or the other group can defuse it. And they could pick up the C4 themselves, but if an innocent plants a C4, an admin's probably going to ban you. But they could also buy a jihad bomb, which they set it off and it's basically a suicide bomb, except it's very deadly if you're with a whole group of people, but try not to blow up a traitor buddy. And on the server I play, I know that no other server has this, but there's a ray gun, which it's a powerful pistol, and it shoots lasers. let's move on to the final group, the detectives. The detectives have a slight advantage over the innocent terrorists, but they're the primary targets of the traitors. So, the detectives are the ones that they're essential in the game. That's why the traitors go after them. Because the detectives, they could scan bodies for DNA if an innocent's killed, but the DNA can decay. So you gotta scan for DNA before it decays. You could buy you could buy stuff like a trader can. You just have less options. And yeah, those are the three groups in the game that you use. And Trouble in Terrorist Town is obviously my favorite part of Garry's mod. I put the most hours into that. But there's my second favorite mode in this game, which I'll talk about. Jailbreak. Jailbreak is another mode in Garry's mod. There are plenty of modes in Garry's mod. I'm just trying to go over a few. But Jailbreak is pretty good. It's nothing similar to Trouble in Terrorist Town, but there are three groups of people. There is the prisoner, who is basically the one that has to survive before the timer comes out. Like they're trying to survive, and they're trying to sneak past the guards and the warden to, you know, to get weapons and kill all the guards before the time runs out. And there's the standard guards, who are basically, they're enforcers to the warden. And the guards basically, they carry weapons. You spawn in the armory, and you could get weapons ranging from an AK-47 in the armory to an M4 rifle to a sniper rifle, which isn't really effective because someone can go after you with a knife and they could probably get you before you snipe them. But yeah, the prisoners do spawn with a knife. I forgot to mention that. But and then there's the warden, who is the main figure in the mode, because the warden does all the commands. You need a microphone, obviously, to be a warden, because it's not effective if you just type in all your commands, this and that. But wardens are pretty good. But they're obviously the prime targets of the prisoners. Not really similar to how the detectives are the primary targets of the traitors in Trouble in Terrorist Town, because wardens can be replaced. Detectives cannot necessarily be replaced unless you pick up their items. But that's basically the two modes. What you hear and see in this review, though, is not gonna really be a full guide to the game, because I've seen Garry's mod reviews before, and it's taken me a long time to get used to these modes. Like, I don't know, Trouble in Terrorist Town, I played, like, I think for about 7 months now. Yeah, 7 months. And it took me maybe a couple of rounds to get used to it, because I was an innocent, I was just killing everyone because I wasn't sure what to do. Thankfully, I didn't get banned on any of the servers, because I guess I was obviously new, but it was pretty hard to, get used to. And then Jailbreak I recently got into maybe a month ago, and it took me about 3 to 4 rounds to get used to. So, I mean, if you want a guide to the game, I'd watch a guide to Garry's mod. But otherwise, this is just a review of my thoughts on the game and my overall thoughts of the game. Because, I mean, there are other modes to check out, such as Sandbox mode, Dark RP, 1942 RP, and a whole bunch of other modes, like Laser Tag. But essentially, based off of the modes I played, and based off of everything you can do in Garry's mod, I'm gonna have to give this game a 94%. I know it's a little high, but out of all the things you could do, it's just great. I mean, the minor flaws in this game is why it's not a perfect game, because games can't be perfect. One of the flaws I found in the game is that you need Counter-Strike Source, basically, to have a full experience, because if you don't have Counter-Strike Source, there'll be error signs all over the game, and it'll just be a glitchy mess. But I think there's a method to have the Counter-Strike Source textures without having Counter-Strike Source. But that's a major flaw in the game when you start it up. So that's a warning, a major warning. So thanks for watching this review. This is one of my favorite games, though. So I'll see you guys later.